Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. The gloves are coming off. I'm tired of everything that I'm reading in the news. Despite I've never seen more negative sentiment towards oil, yet oil prices broke over $82 a barrel today. The news has been hijacked. The media has been weaponized against oil. The American financial structure has been weaponized against oil. The American markets have been weaponized against oil. Our politicians have been weaponized against oil. Why? It's not even about oil. These wars that are happening in the Middle East, it's not about oil. If you remember, George Bush sent in military to Libya because Gaddafi propped up the dinar, killing hundreds of thousands of innocent women and children just to protect what? Our dollar. The most important thing to those in power is the dollar. You could call them the Illuminati. You could call them the deep state, shadow government. But at the end of the day, it's about the dollar. You remove the dollar, then you remove the power. You don't have the ability to maintain the most powerful military in the world. You don't have the ability to manipulate what happens around the world. You don't have any more power. You have nothing. You can't pay off people like in Ukraine, the Middle East. You can't control people in the White House. You can't control the media. You can't do anything. So it's all about protecting the dollar. So here's my point. If you recall, if you go back to the days when the Biden administration was first building their campaign, they found out that Americans, the big topic of discussion was green energy versus fossil fuels. But they needed some science. The same thing they did with the COVID, making everyone believe that if you don't take the vaccination, you're going to die. And they got science. They got you to believe the science behind it. Then you'll get your kids jabbed with something in a substance that they don't know anything about. They got the trust of Americans with science. And so they did it again with global warming. They were able to get you and the rest of the world to believe that climate change is going to destroy the world. And if we don't act, we are going to kill ourselves and we're going to destroy the world and it's going to cease to exist. How did they get you to believe such a crazy lie like that? It blows me away. The media. See, if you see these guys in suits in these famous actors, news anchors, actors, and they get Hollywood to keep shoving it down your throat. And they get these politicians who sit in these sit in these beautiful offices in the White House and in respectable positions, and they push climate change and they push the science behind it over and over again. And they shame you for not believing it. They shame you. At some point, you just give into it. But here's the thing. All these people that think they're trying to save the world, all these people that think they are doing what's right, they don't know why they're doing it. Biden probably thought it was just a really good campaign thing to get young voters and to get more votes. At the end of the day, it's all about power. Because if they can get rid of fossil fuels, then they could get rid of the very thing that erodes the price, erodes the value of their dollar. If oil prices were to go up $200 a barrel today, at some point, the U.S. economy would tank, the U.S. dollar would be destroyed. So it's all about protecting that dollar, and it's all about control. You think about it. If they could localize energy, then the Middle East can't control the price of a barrel of crude anymore. If they could get everybody, instead of using gasoline that could be imported or exported from any country, Saudi Arabia, Russia, Iran, whatever, if they could get it to run through electricity, then you could sell that electricity to all the Americans. And so you could turn off the electricity. Now you have control and you localize energy and it doesn't become a global asset anymore. You can't import and export electricity. You can't. You can do that with fossil fuels. You can do that with gasoline and oil and byproducts of oil, but you cannot export electricity. You can't import it. It will localize it. And now you have control. And now you don't rely on fossil fuels anymore. And now the dollar remains in power. And now it reduces the power in the Middle East. And so, because if Russia can't sell their oil anymore, then they can't make weapons anymore, and it reduces the power of the military. See, the very thing that the Middle East is trying to do to us, we're doing to them. You reduce the amount of the price of a barrel of crude, it prevents them from being able to fund wars. You increase the price of a barrel of crude, you prevent us the ability to fund wars. It goes both ways. And that's why they have empowered, they've weaponized the media with global warming. The woke agenda, the anti-fossil fuel agenda, getting banks against oil, getting colleges against oil, to pass laws to prevent people from being able to use gas-powered stoves. And you can't even buy, I think it's in Pennsylvania or New York, that you can't even buy gas-powered semi-trucks anymore. Diesel-powered semi-trucks have been banned, I believe. And you have to go to Minnesota to buy them now. That's why they're passing these laws. So you look at what's happening in the Middle East. Do you think we're going to war with Iran and dropping these bombs simply because of 3 Americans died in Syria? Otherwise, we would have gone to war a long time ago. It's all about the Middle East is coming together. They control 40% of the world's oil supply, and they only have one option. It's to cut the West off from oil, and it's to reduce the value of their dollar. Because otherwise, if they don't do anything, the wokeness, which is an agenda, it's going to infiltrate the Middle East, and it's going to reduce their power. I mean, Russia took a stand against Ukraine, and it had nothing to do with Ukraine. It had nothing to do with money or land. It had to do with them protecting their way of life. They're being surrounded by the woke agenda, the control of America. The control. I love America. I love my country. But this woke agenda, the powers that be, we've been infiltrated by a lie. We've been infiltrated by a media. They have replaced true media with people that just take a paycheck. I don't trust what's said on media anymore. I don't trust anybody in the news anymore. Even the ones that say that they're pro-Republican or whatever, regardless of what they say, I don't believe anything that they say. But at the end of the day, you could bribe them. They could be bought. Every single one of them. And if they can't buy you, they'll make something up about you, and they'll destroy your reputation, and you'll lose your position. And so they can do that. I mean, if they have the ability to build the military, and when I say they, America, the US dollar, they could print as much. We're the only country in the world that could print and print and print. And so what am I saying? I'm saying that the demand for oil is increasing, contrary to popular belief. These emerging markets, their demand for oil is increasing. They can't buy green energy. The green energy is a lie. It doesn't. Free energy is a lie. Green energy is a lie. They're having to use more materials coming out of the ground with lithium and cobalt and these materials in order to create an electric car. The only reason why people go buy an electric car today is because of the subsidies, but go try to charge it. Good luck. There's not enough electricity today to be able to charge the amount of electric cars that are out there. People don't want to buy them. I mean, some do, but not near as many as that they're making you believe. It's all about control. So here's what I see happening. This war between America and Iran, Houthi rebels, the Middle East, it's about them protecting their power. And I think with BRICS coming in better alliance, signing up more countries, they're more organized, and they control 40% of the world's oil supply. I truly believe that they are going to cut us off from oil. And if you cut us off from oil, the price of a barrel of WTI, West Texas Intermediate, is going to go to levels that we've never seen before. We don't have enough oil in America to sustain us. Everyone says, well, Sean, we've broken records for oil. Listen, our last remaining asset is shale. That's it. After that, we don't have anything else. When I say we don't have anything else, yes, we have a lot of conventional oil, but there's not enough. We went from conventional oil to offshore, and then we went into other countries. And then once we ran out of that, we came back home. And that's why you're seeing Chevron in these majors buying out American shell companies, because they don't have anything else. Shell is our last option, and we're running out of shale. And you're starting, just like Art Berman says, you're hearing the sucking sound, the last bit of that shake. You're hearing that annoying sound there, and yes, we've increased output. We've broken records, but that's because of advanced technology that's increasing the speed of how fast we pull the oil out of the ground, because we're having more proficient fracks, larger fracks, longer leg fracks. They're extracting more oil much faster. So it's like putting a bigger straw in a smaller shake. They're sucking it out faster, but the decline rate is much faster. The shelf life is much shorter. And so we're starting to decline in shale. This year, I believe it's flatlined, and then we're going to start seeing a decline, and that decline is going to come quickly. And the Middle East is planning that. They see that coming. And the green energy lie, we're going to find out real quick that we can't replace fossil fuels. And people are going to continue to keep using their fossil fueled powered vehicles. And people think that us making a dent in America is really going to make that much of a difference globally. We reduce, for every barrel of oil we reduce here in America, there's 2 to 3 more barrels of oil demand that's growing in some other country. Listen, we only have like 350 to 400 million people here in America. There's 7.5 billion more people out there that don't have the money that America has to be able to go green. The rest of the world can't afford it, and they're shoving it down their throats. Guys, I'm here to tell you that don't believe what you read about. Don't believe what you see. This war in the Middle East, it's worse than what people are saying. They're trying to reduce a regional war. Remember what I said earlier. It's all about protecting that dollar. The higher the price of a barrel of crude goes, the lower the dollar goes. And that's the only thing that matters to them. And so if this war gets exacerbated and it gets put in the news, the price of a barrel of crude goes up. And so they're using the media to try to put a lid on it, try to make it seem like it's not that bad. Like these attacks are controlled, as if Iran isn't going to find some way to exacerbate the situation, as if OPEC isn't coming together, forming BRICS alliance to control 40% of the world's oil supply and use it as a weapon against the West. You don't think they're going to do that? Because if they don't do something, if they continue to sit back, the woke agenda is going to take over. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I can't believe how oil has become the new cigarette. Guys, don't believe what you read. Don't believe what you hear. Right now, oil prices are $80-something a barrel. Even with I've never seen more negative sentiment than I've seen today. But I'm here to tell you, they're going to do whatever it takes to try to get you to believe that we don't need oil anymore and that green energy has come to save the day. Don't believe it. Don't believe the numbers, the statistics, everything that you read about. It doesn't make any sense. The price of a barrel of crude is not fundamental anymore. It's all based upon what they want you to believe. It's all based upon manipulation and control. It's all about protecting the almighty dollar. And so I truly believe that once we start seeing a decline in U.S. shale, I truly believe that OPEC, as they organize even more in the Middle East, I believe that something is coming down, because these little bombs that the Houthi rebels are dropping on oil vessels in the Red Sea doesn't compare to what's coming down the pike here. Iran is going to respond to America taking out high-level officers. They are going to respond in a heavy way, but it's not about responding to some small attacks that America has done. It's all about their God, Allah. It's their religious duty to come against America. It's their religious duty to spread Islam. If you're an infidel, they're going to destroy you. They will not go to heaven. They will, I guess, burn in hell for eternity if they don't do the things that they're doing. And they need oil in order to do these things. And the West is doing everything they can to try to keep prices down. So what's going to happen in the future? It's escalating out there, guys. And I truly believe that oil prices are going to go to levels that we've never seen before. And I truly believe if the Middle East has their way, oil prices are going to go to levels we've never seen. And I think one of the first steps is them escalating the war and cutting off the West from oil. All right, guys, I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. If you are interested in learning more, go in my description below. I'd love to chat with you. I'd love to connect with you. And we'll talk soon. Thanks.